Starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right. I want to welcome everybody to another KevCAM night class school here. For those of you that are new here, my name is Kevin Rankle. I'm one of the applications engineer here, and I also have Brendan McKenna, our Eastern account manager here. Brendan, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes,
Brendan,
sir. How you doing?
Good. How about yourself?
Good, good. A little warm in these parts, but yeah, we're doing well, and happy to have everybody here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And Brendan will be here to kind of help answer your guys' questions that come through on the panel here. And if there's a question that he can't answer, he'll just stop me mid-sentence, and we'll answer you guys' questions as they come through. So we'll give it.
Yeah. Definitely, Kevin. I just kind of wanted to, mention real quick, maybe just some housekeeping stuff for the meeting. If there are questions, everybody right now is in what we call listen-only mode. So if you do have a question during the presentation, I'm going to be monitoring the questions area of the GoToWebinar session. So I think you'll see it. It's about 3/4 of the way down. If you do have a question that comes up throughout the presentation, feel free to just type in your question there, and I'll do my best to get back to you privately. And then if it's something that I can't answer, then I'll just kind of pause, Kevin, and then we can all discuss that during the meeting.
Absolutely. And then for those of you guys right now, can I just get a yes that you can see my screen so I can make sure everybody's seeing it clear right now? Yep, perfect. All right, excellent. All right, well, we'll get started with the KevCAM night class. This evening we will be covering the workflow, so we'll be kind of going over how you start off a part, the difference between internal, external, compressed, non-compressed, and closing out of parts, and kind of how the flow kind of goes inside SolidCAM. So we really won't be doing much programming tonight, but we'll kind of go kind of like I said with the workflow, and kind of show you guys the proper ways of doing things and the benefits and the disadvantages of each different way. So but for first things first, guys, I'd like to give you guys my email address. So if you guys have any ideas on how to let's see, where is my chat? What I'll do is I will put it in the chat here for you guys. So if you guys have any ideas on classes that you guys would like to see in the future, definitely shoot me an email, and we'll definitely do a class on that. And also I'll put a link in there for my YouTube channel, which this video will be updated there. Probably right around midnight tonight, the video will go up and live on YouTube. And like I said, it's going to be under the SolidCAM University channel. And we have all our night classes in here, and you'll see, our fixture one that I forgot to hit the record button a few weeks ago is now up there for you guys. Tips and tricks for chaining and all that good stuff's on there. So definitely subscribe if you haven't already. But all right.
Well, Kevin, I mean, you can't be great all the time. I mean,
right.
As great as you are, you know what I mean? So.
Okay, so we'll get going here. So kind of like how I do all the other classes, I want to kind of go through is the settings first, and where you guys can find these settings to what we're covering today. So open up your SolidCAM and go to the settings, and then go ahead and click on CAM part. And now everything that we will be covering today is actually going to be in this CAM part area here. So here's the default for doing external or internal. Right now I have it selected so it's not automatically picking the external, but if you did always wanted to do external, and you always wanted to have in the model directory file or a different CAM location, I'll kind of go over that stuff. You can checkbox that, and it will automatically do that for you. So right here is create new parts in compress mode. So that's what we'll actually be covering first is compress mode, and then we'll actually be covering uncompressed mode, and then we will be covering internal. And after that, we will be going on to, let's see, what else do I have in here? How to open up files and how to move files around and how to actually do a pack and go, kind of like how SolidWorks does. So.
You know, hey Kevin, if I can just interject here real quick, are you going to be covering the relationship with SolidCAM files with usage of like an EPDM or like a PLM type of system?
Nope. We'll be covering that. We'll be covering that in the associativity night class.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay,
so
sorry.
We'll actually have a full class for you guys on how the associativity works using the SolidWorks Vault and how stuff updates behind the scenes that you guys don't see, and give you guys a better grasp on how the integration works. But we'll be doing that in one of the ones coming up here shortly. Yep.
Upcoming classes. Okay, perfect. Great. Thanks.
Absolutely. So one thing I want you guys to notice is this CAM part temporary folder. Some of you, or some of the users, like to move this to a different location. I recommend just leaving it at the default, and that's going to go to your C user, whoever you're signed in under, app data, local, SolidCAM. And I'll be going over this quite a bit right here, showing you guys what goes in this folder, what happens, and whatnot. So, but with that being said, let's get the ball rolling here and start showing you guys compressed mode. So right now we have just our SolidCAM or SolidWorks part, excuse me. So what we'll do is, or what I did is I actually created 2 files on my desktop. Now you guys can have these wherever. I'm just kind of doing this as if you guys are running on a server, you know, multiple different users. You guys have the engineers parts and you guys have your CAM parts. So I'll kind of go over that. So, so right here, that's where I actually have my SolidWorks file. I can actually show it. Open up for you guys, and you'll see I have part 1 right there for you. So what we'll do is do a SolidCAM and then new milling. Okay, so here are all our options for internal, external, and like I said, you can set these as default, so this screen won't ever pop up for you. But for right now, I have it unchecked so you guys can see what's going on. So what we'll do for the first time is we'll do external, PRT, PRZ. So basically what happens is when we start a SolidCAM project, this works really good for working on a server over across the network. If you guys are VPN into your server with all your settings and stuff on the server. And what it does is it actually opens up in that temporary file that I showed you guys before, and it saves everything right there. Now, when we go to close out of that part, what it does is it gathers all the information it needs, it zips it up into a zip file, and which is a PRZ for our format, and it compresses it all and it saves it to the location that you specified. Now, the nice thing about that is when we do that, you're not having to wait for server lag times or internet times or anything like that. It's anytime you do save and calculate, it's instantaneously. Now, when you go to close out of that and it's zipping everything up, then it might take a little bit slower depending on your server speed or your internet connection to save it back to the server or a specified location that's not on your computer. Now, you can use the compress mode when you're just working on your local computer too. If you guys were to ask me what my personal preference is between external compressed or external uncompressed or internal, this is my absolute favorite one. I found that it's the absolute fastest for calculation times, have no issues with it, saving or anything like that. So what I'm going to do here is, instead of using the use model directory, this is basically saying, do you guys want to save the SolidCAM zip file right next to where the SolidWorks file is? If you do, you can hit this little checkbox right here. If you don't, what we can do is you can specify where you want it to save. So what I can do is come over here and I will find my, what would I call that folder? Let's see, SolidCAM parts. Browse to desktop and SolidCAM parts and hit OK. So now what it will do is it will save all my CAM files inside my folder that I specified right here, and all my SolidWorks will stay in here. But like I said before, if you guys want that SolidCAM and SolidWorks file to be right next to each other, all you have to do is click that little checkbox right there. So with that being said, we'll hit OK. And we'll just throw a coordinate system on there. So we're not going to get into too much milling in here today. Just really want to show you guys the best way to put to do the workflow per your guys' how you guys use the software. Okay, so now that I have started my SolidCAM project, I can create toolpath on there or whatnot. Now, what I want to show you guys here is if I open up my temporary folder here, and like I said, this is going to that location, that C user, my login name, app data, local, and SolidCAM temporary folders. What it does is it actually is saving all the data locally on this on the C drive of this computer. And like I said, that's to save on speed. Things are much faster when you do calculations and whatnot. So one thing I want to point out now is, if I go back to my SolidCAM, if I close out of this part, what will you'll actually see, I'll try to click it as fast as I can, but you'll actually see this file disappear out of here. So this is at my PRT, and inside my folder is all my stock, target. If I had toolpath on here, tools, all that stuff would all be in here. So let's just go back one right here. Now, when I close this down, I want to kind of go over proper closing techniques. A lot of guys just want to hit the red X out. It does work 90% of the time, but the absolute best way to close out of a SolidCAM file is just right-click on CAM file and close. The reason we say this is because inside SolidCAM there is no save button. So everything is updating as we go. Now, if I hit the red X over here, what we're doing is we're actually closing SolidWorks and SolidCAM at the exact same time. So if we have a larger CAM file, what will happen is SolidCAM's trying to compress all that stuff into that zip file, and SolidWorks is trying to shut down at the same time, and sometimes it will pop up saying it didn't get closed in time, and it will kind of show up as if it'll pull out of your temporary folder. So, and I'll actually simulate a crash for you guys so you guys can see what it will look like from your end if you guys, do encounter a crash as you're programming here, or you get a power outage or whatnot. So what we'll do is we'll close out of here, and I'll try to click that folder as fast as I can here. See, it's already out of there. So what it did is it zipped everything up in that folder and in here, and what it did is it went from my temporary folder and saved it over to my CAM parts. So now I have my part.prz in there. Now, this is basically just a zip file, but the PRZ is our format, so you can see the SolidCAM icon on there. So that's kind of how the compressed works. Now, what I did is, let me just open that back up here. And let's go to recent parts here. I forgot to say something. Right when I started this CAM project, and I said SolidCAM new milling, when I'm running external compressed or non-compressed, what it did is it automatically took my part, made an exact copy of it. Now, I'm not saying we made a copy and translated it over. It makes an exact copy because we stayed inside of SolidWorks the entire time. So for some other CAM companies, what they do is they make a part and then they have to convert it into their file, and you get conversion errors. You never get those conversion errors inside SolidCAM because we are constantly inside of SolidWorks the entire time. And same thing for Inventor and Inventor CAM also. So what we did is we made an exact copy, and the reason we have to make a copy of that is to comply with the ISO 9000 standard. And what we actually do there is, I know for some of you this might be a repeat, but what we do is we make an exact copy, and any changes we make to this model right here stay to this model only. It does not reflect back to the original model ever. But now if we made the changes on the SolidWorks side, it does reflect back to the SolidCAM model. So, and like I said, that's to comply with the ISO 9000 standard. So now that I have my SolidCAM file back open, if if I go back to my temporary folder here, you'll see that it put it back in there, everything that I need there too. So what I want to do is, let me just minimize this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to simulate a power outage. I'm not going to actually pull the plug on my computer, but what I'll do is I'll crash the software and show you guys what you'll actually see. So hit my little kill SolidWorks here. So now what I'll do is if I go to my temporary folder here, you'll still see that my part 1 PRT and my part 1 folder are still stuck in my temporary folder. Now for those of you guys, when you guys don't have a part open, this folder should be empty. I mean, you'll have some job info in there, but you should see no parts in there, and this should be empty at all times. So now if I go to fire back up my SolidWorks here, should have started this before I started rambling on.
Well, again, like I said, Kevin, you can't be great all the time. You just, you have to show you have, certain flaws a little bit, but.
Okay, we'll get our SolidCAM, open up our recent part here. Okay, so this is the big thing I wanted to show you guys. When you guys get a power outage, computer crashes, SolidWorks crashes, SolidCAM crashes, you are going to get this file right here. Always, always, always click the continue with temporary folder. So what it's going to do is it's going to open up the version that was inside that temporary folder. Now, if you do continue with compressed CAM part version, what it does is it's going to wipe out what was in the temporary folder, and it's going to go back to the last time it was properly closed out. So if I hit OK here, have everything saved, nothing got lost, and it just pulled it out of that temporary folder. So that's kind of what it looks like if you guys were to get a crash, whatnot, and that's kind of the difference with using that temporary folder. Like I said, the best way to close out of here is just right-click and close. And then now if we go to our temporary folder, you'll see that that part is actually out of there. And what it did is it compressed it and zipped it up and saved it to the proper location that I specified. So do we have any questions at all running with compressed? Just want to make sure.
Yeah, Kevin, I was looking at the questions page. I don't see anything so far. So we're either putting them to sleep or
okay.
we're just wowing them completely. So
well, we got that one guy that has that cowboy hat issue, but other than that, it looks like we're good here.
I actually sent him a message. I asked him to take his hat off. So,
All right. So what we'll do here is now what we'll do is we'll go over the uncompressed. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete this out here. Now, that kind of goes over a good point. If you guys are looking at deleting files for the compressed, all you have to do is delete that zip file out and you're good. So you just don't have to worry about going to multiple different locations or anything like that. Just go there and delete it out and you're all set. So we'll start off with our SolidCAM file again, and this time we'll do a uncompressed. And I'll show you what the difference is here. Now, uncompressed, it gives you have, well, let me just shut up and I'll just show you. You get a little bit more information on running uncompressed. Oh, actually, I forgot to tell it to run as uncompressed. Let me get to my settings here. And we'll go to CAM part, and we'll uncheck the create new parts in compress mode. We'll hit OK here. Do SolidCAM new milling again. And what we'll do is, let me just make sure I'm still going to my right location here. Nope. Let me browse to my desktop and SolidCAM parts. Hit OK. And we'll go external as uncompressed. So let me just give me a second here and I'll throw a cord sys on here real quick. And I'll hit OK here. And go over stock. And hit the green check mark out. So with uncompressed, you guys are going to see a lot more information in there of what's going on. So if you guys are running on a server of any kind, or where you guys are saving files over a network or a shared center or anything, I recommend not using this, because you are going to see when you click the Save and Calculate to do toolpath, you'll see a much slower save and calculate times with the uncompressed, because what it's basically doing is it's working on the folder as we speak right here. So let me just minimize that for a second. I'll close it down, and we'll actually go into my CAM parts. And if I go in here, you're going to get, like I said, more information. You have the PRT of the SolidCAM file, and inside here you have all the stock, target, the actual assembly file that gets created when you say SolidCAM new milling. You have the target, and as I keep adding operations, tooling, and whatnot, this is going to get lengthy. So if you guys have 10 to 15 operations, you're going to have a whole slew of information in here, and sometimes it gets a little confusing for people, and that's why, like I said, my personal preference, and I think a lot of the tech guys' personal preference, is to run as compressed. But if you guys like to see more of what's going on inside your folder management system, definitely run as uncompressed, because you have more stuff that's going on here. Now, one thing I want to mention is inside here, you'll see that I have my SLD PRT. If I open this up, here is my design model. But what you don't want to do is make any changes to this design model, because this is that copy that we made inside there. So what you want to do is you always want to make changes to the original, not the design model inside that uncompressed folder there. So you won't get updates. Stuff just doesn't work like it's supposed to. So if you guys are looking to, run as uncompressed and you need to make a SolidWorks change, don't go to this area to change your SolidWorks. Come over to where your SolidWorks files are and do it right here. You'll actually get some errors also if you start your SolidWorks part as being named design model. So with that being said, you guys can, like I said, you guys can come in here and open up the parts, and it just works like it did as uncompressed. But basically what it's doing is it's not zipping up that file at the end and saving it to that destination folder. It's saving it to that file location live. It's not doing it to your C root drive. So let me make sure I got all my talking topics here. Let's see. Open folders. Okay. So now, opening up parts too. If you guys want, you guys can come in here, go to your tools, SolidCAM, open, and browse to where your parts are. So that's one way of opening up your SolidCAM files. Also, for those of you who may not know, we have a recent tab down here, and you can browse to, it keeps up to 10. If you want to keep more than 10, you can change this number inside your SolidCAM settings. Or you can do browse recent projects, and it'll show you kind of a picture representation of what's going on. So, we have a part here, and you guys can see that when we were talking, or when I was doing the fixtures, here's the fixture ones that we're using, and here's last week's. So have them all stored in there. So that's another way to browse to it. And then another way is, if you want, you can come right to your folder and just double click, and it will open up the file for you. So a couple different ways of opening it. And once we get over to internal, what I'll do is I'll show you another way of opening up these files. So do we have any questions so far on external of SolidCAM, or how it works, or anything to do with that?
Yeah, it looks, Kevin, we've got one here. It says if you lose the SolidWorks parent model, like you are the victim of Windows 10 stupidity and have to re-image your hard disk from a week's old image, but the PRZ file is on a shop computer and you can get it back. Can you uncompress after the fact and get your model back?
Yes. So if you're trying to get your model back, and Michael, let me know if I'm answering you right. Basically, you can get your SolidCAM file back, but you need to relink it to your SolidWorks model. If that is the case, all you guys have to do, and this works for anything, and this works really good for if you guys have a family of parts. So let's say I have, come on, Brendan, we got to get some toolpath on this thing. This just looks too ugly and plain here.
Well, I mean, you know, Kevin, you're the expert. You know, I just work here. You know, I don't do anything. I just sell stuff.
Funny guy. All right, let's just grab a tool and get some levels. Okay, so now we got some toolpath on there. So let's say, and Mike, this kind of goes right along with your question here. If you guys lose the link between the two, can you relink them together? Yes. And if you guys are doing a family of parts, so let's say you have this SolidCAM part and maybe you have another one that's very similar to it, but maybe just the outside perimeter is changing in size. What you guys want to do first is, Mike, you don't have to worry about this right now, but what you want to do is come over here and make a copy. So do a save as, and we'll do a copy. So then and then you can rename it to, you know, the larger part or bigger part or however you want to label it. Then to relink it to the SolidWorks model, all you have to do is come over here, change model reference, and browse to where that SolidWorks file is located. So, I mean, we can go to our desktop here, and we'll do, let's see, where is my folder? If I can find it here. Am I missing it? Sales, SolidCAM parts, SolidWorks parts right there. And then click on it and just hit open. Now, I probably won't get okay, so right here, it'll pop up saying design model replaced. Do you want to continue? And we can hit yes, and it will update to that new model, and it will actually relink it to the SolidCAM file. Or what you can do is, like I said, if you guys have a family of parts, you can relink it to a different SolidWorks model and keep all your toolpath there. Now, when you guys do this, and it's a different model, let's see, we'll just cancel this here. You might see some stoplights that pop up on your ChordSys, target, and stock. And most likely it's going to be on your stock and target, especially if the outside perimeter does change. For that particular case, all you have to do is you can either right-click and do a synchronize, or you can come up to your CAM part up at the very top here and do synchronization, and it will synchronize everything for you and rebuild all the stuff. And then down here you might get some asterisks or some warnings. Depends on how radical of a change. So, Mike, hopefully that answers your question about relinking it. All you have to do is just come up here and change model reference and just browse to where that SolidWorks file has been saved for you. So, and that works with compressed or uncompressed. Now, as we roll into internal of SolidWorks, you won't be able to do this with internal. And I will show you why and what kind of goes on with the internal of SolidWorks. So let's close out of this here. Uh-oh, I made it mad here. Get going here.
Well, you have that effect on people, Kevin. I mean, you know, come on here.
All right, we'll delete all our old junk out of there, so we have nothing in our SolidCAM part files here. And we will, let me just make sure I don't have anything in my, so I just have my solid file there. And let me just make sure, oh boy, I got lots of files open here. And I have nothing inside my temporary folder, so we are good. And like I said, you guys just definitely take a look at this every once in a while. Like I said, you guys shouldn't have any parts in here. And if you guys do, maybe just open it up from the temporary file and just close it out properly, and then it should save back to the original. And you guys can check your dates there. Now, if you guys are trying to change that model reference and you get an error saying cannot relink toolpath, or you're getting any kind of error that pops up, what happens is something has gotten stuck inside your temporary folder. So what you can do is you can, if you don't want to get rid of it, what I'll do for customers is what you can do is you just come over here and make a new folder and just say old temp, and it's store, take all that stuff that was in there and just move it over to your old temp. Then you won't see any errors pop up when you're trying to change your model reference. So hopefully that makes sense for everybody. All right, so let's get back in here and we'll open up our part. Now, what we'll do is we'll do internal. There are some benefits to the internal. My personal opinion, I think there's way more advantages running external than there is internal. But you know, if you guys are, we want to give you guys as much control as possible, so you guys can do what you guys want specifically for your machine shop there. So do our SolidCAM new milling, and we got to open up SolidCAM here again. Come on. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll pick internal. Now as soon as I click internal, it's going to gray out all my stuff here. So what actually happens here is the SolidCAM file will be internal to the SolidWorks file. So you won't have two separate files anymore, which is, you know, a nice benefit, keeps everything nice and clean, and it will be internal to the SolidWorks file. So if I hit OK here, and let's just throw Quartzsys on there, hit OK. Now, you'll see that it doesn't look much different. It's going to look all the same for you guys. You know, you guys can come back to your SolidWorks at any time. But one big thing you'll see is we are still working in part level only. It does not turn it into a SolidWorks assembly level. So from right here, you cannot bring in any fixtures or vices or anything of that sort. You can't bring in external stock. But you'll see it does not make a copy of it, and you are working on the original file. So any changes you do make here using internal do stay with the SolidWorks file. So that kind of violates the ISO standard, but you know, I know a lot of shops that aren't certified in that. But so that is one downer. Now, if you guys are needing to do an assembly, what I recommend doing is do a SolidWorks assembly first, and then start your SolidCAM internal there. Then you are in assembly mode, and then you can bring your vices in. Now, if I go to close out of this, you'll see that in here, I have nothing in here, so no SolidCAM file at all. If I go to my SolidWorks parts here, you'll see I have no SolidCAM at all there. So with that being said is, SolidCAM has 100% embedded itself into this file. So now when I go to open this up, it will actually tell me that I have a CAM project inside here. So I can say cancel, and it's just going to bring me to my SolidWorks file, or I can hit OK, and it will open up the SolidCAM portion of this. Now, you guys can have multiple of these CAMs in your file at all times. Or multiple different CAM projects. So, you know, if you guys just want to do a top side of this part, and then you want to create another completely separate CAM project, and to do the back side, it will actually show up as two different CAM dialogues in that that pop-up box that showed up for you guys. So let me make sure I'm covering all my talking points here. Now, the same thing is going to kind of happen with that temporary. You'll see that we have our PRZ and PRT and milling part in there. So it's going to still save it on that temporary folder just in case something ever happened. So now when you guys change model reference, you can't do that with internal because we are working internal to that SolidWorks file, and it can't go to a different SolidWorks file because we, like I said, we are embedded into this file by itself here. So Now, if you guys have to delete a CAM project out of there, let me close out of this here. All you have to do is, there's really no delete key, or because it's like I said, internal to SolidWorks, is open it up and it will actually pop up with a dialog right here. I can delete it out, hit the red X and say okay, and now I have no CAM project in there. So let me just close out of here and let's just make sure. So now you'll see that I have no SolidCAM associativity at all in there. So that's how you kind of delete that portion out. Now let's get back to compressed and uncompressed here. Is there any questions at all running internal? Anybody, or
yeah,
hopefully I'm not putting anybody to sleep.
No, Kevin. I'm looking at the questions pane. I don't see anything so far since the last one, so I think we're good to go here.
Perfect. All right, so let me kind of go over a few things here. Unfortunately, I deleted my file here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys, when you click this checkbox, what it will look like for you. I'll throw a cord sys on there. And like I said, future classes, we'll be going over cord sys and how to set different coordinate systems on here for, milling, mill turn, all those different options. There's a lot of stuff inside the cord sys for options for you guys. Excuse me. So we'll be going over that in one of the future classes here. Throw some stock on there. All right, so then we'll just close out of this real quick. Now, when you hit that little checkbox, now you will see that we have our part and our, oh, actually I'm running as uncompressed right now. Let me get rid of that. Forgot to switch my settings over. Go Tools, SolidCAM, Settings, and we'll go to our CAM part, and what we'll do is create new CAM parts in compress mode. Throw a cord sys on there. And we'll grab some stock. Oops.
So Kevin, as you're kind of setting this up, is there like a maybe a preview of what's to come in the next few classes, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I don't even know what's coming up for classes, so let me. We'll just go to our website here. I can't remember which one's coming next. So if you guys aren't sure, like I said, just come to the website, type in KevCAM. And so, like right now we're going over workflow. Next week we'll be going over everything inside settings with a fine-tooth comb. So every little button checkbox in there, we'll be kind of going over that. Simulation, all the different simulations that are available. We'll get into just a small titch of the machine sim. I don't want to get into it too deep just because I know a lot of people don't even have machine sim. But through Solid Verify, host CAD, 2D rendering, 3D rendering. Then the week after that, we'll go over cord sys and how all the different ways of using the coordinate system, and then templates, and we'll keep going on after that. I think after that, we'll actually be going over profile, I think, or maybe face mill. I can't remember. So.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Yeah, didn't mean to kind of distract you there, Kevin. The other question that came in, if you're saving external, so in other words, like, so you're doing the external save, how do you save in the middle of a project? Like, in other words, if you've done a lot of work, you've gotten to a point where you've done a bunch of work there, you want to ensure that you'll save it. Like say your computer crashes.
Mm-hmm.
How do you open, or how do you ensure that you've been able to sure. Retain that data? Yep. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. So let's just add we'll just add operation here. And we'll grab a cutter here. And get some levels. All right. So let's just say we have 20 operations here, and I want to ensure that I have saved. Technically, SolidCAM, there is no save button, but every time you click the green check mark, so if I come in here and you click the green check mark right there, that is saving. If you guys click the Save and Calculate, so you can update your toolpath, that is automatically saving. If you guys come in here and hit the green check mark to get out, that is automatically saving. So to answer the question, there is no save button. Everything is all being saved live in this temporary folder right here. So there really is no save, but if you are, you put 10, 15 hours into programming this part and you just want to ensure 100% that it is going to be there when you close out your computer and shut down, what I would do is just go to your very last operation in your tree and just open it up and click the Save and Calculate button. That will 100% ensure everything has been saved, everything has been updated at the last, and then you can go ahead and close out of that file. And that is the most easiest way to save. If you guys are really, really worried about something, what you can do is you can make a backup copy by doing the Save As feature here. And I mean, we can do a Save As, and we'll just say, backup. Did I just type in back? I did. Okay, so you guys can just do a backup. And now what you'll see is, let me just close out of this part here, is if I go to my SolidCAM file here and SolidWorks parts, you'll see that I actually have my part file here and then my backup file. So no matter what, there is no, I mean, you'll never ever lose your work. Even if we get a corrupt file in here, what we can do, and I don't suggest you guys doing this, but what I can do is I can come in here and let's just do a slow click here, and what I can do is I can rename this to zip. And yes, we're going to change it. So you'll see that I actually have a zip file now. Now what I can do is I can come in here and do extract all, and then I have all my stuff already in here. So all my geometry that I created, my PRT file in here, and you can actually recover anything that's been in there. So if you do get a corruption some way, somehow, there is a way to recover it. Just rename it to zip, and then uncompress that, and then you can reopen it from there.
That's a really cool feature. Yeah, I didn't even know that existed myself.
Yeah, it's real nice. But like I said, there's never been a file that we haven't been able to recover minus the internal. Now with internal is if you get a SolidWorks corruption or something happens with that SolidWorks file, that SolidWorks and SolidCAM file are gone. We can never get them back. You've lost everything, and that's only because we embed all of our data inside of that SolidWorks file. So if something happens to that SolidWorks file, there's no getting it back. And usually what it does is it corrupts the whole file. So like I said, if you guys, something weird off the wall happened, it will definitely switch over for you, or we'll be able to recover it other than internal. So we have a couple questions rolling.
There are actually, Kevin. There was one actually just right after you did the description of the recovery. There was a question about undoing. Is there like any undo button? And I'm not sure if that question refers to the file recovery. I'm not quite sure. I mean, we do have an undo in terms of operational stuff, but I don't know if that's a file format question. So
okay,
maybe we get some clarification on that.
Yeah, there is. If you guys do a toolpath over here and you didn't want it, there is no undo button. But let's say you did a sketch You know, you draw the sketch and
right, in terms of SolidWorks functionality.
Yep, you can come over to your file and hit or edit and then hit undo sketch, and then it will undo the sketching properties. There is no undo inside a SolidCAM here, so we can't just right click and do, you know, undo. I think, I'm not sure why they don't have it in there. I can definitely find out for everybody, but hopefully that answers your question there, Ronnie. There's a undo.
Yeah, it did. He just came in and said,
okay,
yeah, we did answer it. So.
Now, I mean, what we do is we do have a couple of the functionality. So, you know, if you guys want to rename something, you can hit the F2, you know, and then the regular Windows functionality here to do keyboard shortcuts like that. But unfortunately, undo is not one of them. So, and Michael, since Windows 10 may crash, stay a bit gushy. Okay, so if those of you guys are running Windows 10, all of our tech team is actually, yeah, now all of our tech team, we had one guy that was still on Windows 7, but all of our tech team is running Windows 10. My biggest advice for you guys that is running Windows 10 is come in here and type in UAC, and it's going to be your Change User Account Controls. Even if you guys are running Windows 7, we're kind of getting a little bit off subject here, but even if you guys are running Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 8.1, move this slider bar down to Never Notify. What's actually happening here is it's a communication security for Windows 10, Windows 7, Windows 8, all that stuff. When this slider bar, the default is right here. Now when that slider bar is up there, what it's doing is it's actually cutting off some of the communication that goes on. And what happens when we don't get communication is SolidWorks and SolidCAM cannot talk back and forth, and we get crashing that's going on. We get some weird errors that pop up. That kind of stuff goes on. Now, Mike, for your two also is if you guys are running not a Dell, boy, am I having a brain fart right now. HP computer, there is going to be what's called a fingerprint reader. And a good way to find out if you guys have a fingerprint reader is if you guys go to your processes and scroll down under the D's, it will say digital persona or DP agent. And you want to turn that down because what it does kind of the same thing as at UAC. It blocks communication between SolidCAM and SolidWorks because it is a security feature. But like I said, when we are working in there, you guys they need to be able to talk back and forth because they are inside of each other. So definitely, hopefully those two things will help you out, Michael. But you know, if you guys are looking to switch over to Windows 10, all of our support staff and even some of our sales staff have switched over to Windows 10 because we want to experience all this stuff before you guys do. So we are all running Windows 10. It works so far. I haven't had any issues with it, and we've kind of updated our software to coincide with the Windows 10. So everything should be working seamlessly through. So, with that being said, now when I told you guys I hit that little checkbox and I told it to save right next to the SolidWorks file, you'll see that I actually have my SolidWorks and SolidCAM paired right next to each other. So they're going to be right next to each other. If you guys want to have things close together, this is how I like to see it, just because I just go to my parts. I can see my SolidWorks part right there, and as you can see my SolidCAM file right there. Let me get rid of this other garbage here. Yep, and delete. Yep. So inside SolidCAM, those of you that are real familiar with the pack and go feature inside SolidWorks, and that's basically you're cutting all ties and you want to do send the SolidWorks file to a completely different division, or if you have an assembly, it kind of breaks all links, associativity to any external files that it was pointing to, so you don't have to have all those files on there. SolidCAM does have something real similar to that. If you right-click where it says CAM part and do send to, you can actually, what it does is it's going to zip up the SolidWorks, it's going to zip up the SolidCAM, it's actually going to zip up the post processor, and if you want to, you can actually include the machine sim also. So all this stuff is going to get packaged up into a nice zip file. Let's just do a folder for right now. and we'll just save it to the desktop. So we'll hit save, and it created that zip file. So you'll see we have part 1 as a zip file. Now I can take this and I can email it to whoever. I can upload it to the cloud and give it to anybody else, and they can use this part. So now if you guys receive a file back, now if you guys are working with support, you'll see this quite commonly, because what we'll do is we'll have you guys zip up the part to us. That way we have your post processor, all the required information that we need to open up that file. If you guys just send us the PRZ file, we're missing when you send this, we're missing the actual SolidWorks file that goes along with it, and it pops open an error saying, I can't find my original, please browse to it, or it will be suppressed. So now, if you guys want, you can hit the extract all, and let me just drag this one over here. And inside here, like I said, we have our PRT, we have all our post-processor stuff, we have our design model, we have actually our assembly file, everything that goes along with it. So if you guys get this part back, all you have to do is really take this PRT file and just drag it in if you guys have the SolidWorks file, or if you're running it to a different computer that doesn't have the post, just save over the post files to where your post is located, and you guys will be set. So that's kind of how the pack and go works inside a SolidCAM. If you guys are running a very large file and it's getting to be, pretty size lengthy and whatnot, what you guys can do is you can come over here and do a cleanup CAM part. And what this is going to do is it's going to remove all G-code files, remove anything that is not being used. So in my last class, we talked about, using chains, and all those chains are stored forever. But if you guys want to remove all that extra stuff here, you can just do a select all, or you can just do certain things, and this will shorten or make the size of your file much smaller, especially if you guys have a lot of toolpath and you guys went back and changed some stuff around. This will definitely move that file to a much smaller size. So trying to think anything else I can show you guys right now. So clean up CAM part. We did a save as. CAM part properties. Inside here, what it's going to do is it's going to kind of show you if you guys were working with inch or metric, and give you kind of the size, description, where everything is saved at. So I think with that being said, for those of you guys that have sat through the classes before, this is going to be a little bit of a refresher here, but for those of you that made it through my long, boring sleep and haven't fallen asleep yet, we're offering a special little incentive, the Tell a Friend. So like I said, this might be a little bit of a refresher for some of you guys, but the Tell a Friend is a really great program that we have. Is you have a buddy down the street, he is looking for CAM, and he's maybe looking to switch. If you give us his name and phone number, that's it. We will send you a $50 gift card, but as long as you guys mention the KevCAM class, we'll actually double that. So just want to throw that out to you guys. You guys get $100, no strings attached, cash. If they purchase the software, you get 20% of that. So real nice feature in there. So just want to kind of touch base on that real quickly. And like I said too, is definitely go to the, if you guys are looking to, maybe I blabbled on too fast here, I went too fast, definitely come to the YouTube channel, subscribe, and rewatch it. They'll all be there. I will have this one up, like I said, right around, it takes a little bit of time to edit the video and render it, so it'll probably be maybe midnight that the video will be uploaded. But do we have any questions at all?
Yeah, Kevin, there was one question here that just came in at the last minute. Basically speaking to how to modeling complex stock. In terms of, I guess there was one individual had trouble saving a copy of original model as a copy and then rolling back a copy to use as stock. So basically the question is, what is a good way to model complex stock?
Complex stock, the best way to model it is inside your CAM project. And I kind of went over in the, if I go to the, let's see, stock, this webinar right here, we talk about all the different stocks and all the benefits of it. I I would recommend doing a stock right inside here because it just keeps everything in here. Now, if you're saying that you're having issues and you can't do the save as, what's happened, I think it was Mike. Yeah, Michael. I think what's happened is you have a file that's actually stuck inside your temporary folder. And like I said, this should be completely empty, so just clear that out, then do your save as, and everything should save over like it's supposed to, and it will keep your stock over in your tree right here. And I mean, we can go through that real quick doing that stock. Oops, let me just close that here, and basically just click on Insert New Part, click on the plane that you want, and what we can do is, let me just do a normal 2 view here. Say we have our stock right there. We can do Features, Extrude, and we'll just do to Vertex. So there we have our stock, and I can come in here, change the transparency so you can see it. So now that stock has stayed inside of the SolidCAM project, and it's basically added a part into the SolidCAM assembly file in here. So that's labeled as a part 1 right here, and you can rename this to whatever you would like. So now if we come in here and do a a save as, you shouldn't have any issues. You should be able to save it to wherever. And we'll just say with stock. And what it will do is it will zip up what was there before and then save and reopen the new one for you guys. And like I said, you still have your stock there. But if you are getting errors, Ronnie, or sorry, Michael, when you're doing that save as, that's more than likely there's something stuck in your temporary file, wherever I put that here. Must have got rid of it. There's probably something stuck in there. So if you just clear that out and then do your save as, you shouldn't have any issues at all. And it could be because with your Windows 10 that UAC might have been up too that was having the issue too. So we, like I said, that communication between each one is extremely important. So any other questions, guys? Hopefully I didn't put anybody to sleep here. I know it's kind of late at night for some of you guys and it's a little bit earlier, but for the old timers like Brendan, it's getting a little late at night for him.
Wow, you know, that was a shot. That was a shot right across the bow, man. Wow.
No, just kidding. Me and Brendan, we've worked together for many years, and it's like working with my brother.
No, it's you know, these things are great. I'm very excited that so many people have come in, and I know it is late, and you know, having people come in and spending their time this late, you know, really, you know, it kind of shows us that this is all worth it. So, you know, we're very excited about it, and you know, again, I can't thank everybody enough for coming in and doing this.
Yeah, I mean, you know, guys, I mean, this, you know, I was, you know, when I kind of came up with this, so I was just thinking maybe we'll just have 5 or 6, you know, maybe 8 people in here, but, you know, we're getting 55 plus people into these webinars. So this is something that we're going to keep going on forever. So like I said, if you guys have something that, you know, that you guys want to see in here, please just shoot me an email. I'd love to do a class on it, as long as we can do a full class on it. Maybe what we'll do in one of the upcoming classes, just a, you know, a pick and prod on the KevCAM teacher, and you know, you guys just shoot, you know, whatever you guys want to see, and you know, maybe we should do that, and that way you guys can get any questions answered. But like I said, or like Brendan said, thanks again for taking the time. I mean, we know you could be sitting in front of the the boob tube watching TV, but you guys took the time out of your night to take a look at the night class. So definitely let us know if there's something else you want to see other in there. And like I said, we want to kind of keep this at night for you guys. So we know work is always busy. The boss is always breathing down your throat, got that part done, or you guys got customers asking for those parts. So we will definitely keep it at night for you guys too. But with that being said,
you know, and
oh, good.
Yeah, you know, Kevin, but you know what? You just keyed in on something there, and I think that's a really great idea. Maybe you know, one of these sessions, what we can do is, you know, just kind of do like, you know, stump the chump. We can do stump the Kev, you know, where, you know, basically just sort of open it up into a, you know, sort of a live format, and you know, we sort of monitor the questions, and you know, just have some things that, you know, that customers maybe, you know, might be struggling with, or some you know, certain you know, part files or operations that are somewhat challenging to our customers, and you know, then we can you know, kind of just, you know, walk them through how to do that. I know that puts a little pressure on you, but
yeah, we'll just have to wear a couple different coats of deodorant that night, and we'll go to town. But no, yeah.
Well, hey, you brought it up. You brought it up, man. So I can't.
No, and like I said, guys, we want to do whatever we can do to make this easier for you guys, and the best way to learn. So if you guys have ideas, just like I said, just let us know, and I will definitely incorporate those right away for you guys. So, but I think we are, you know, pretty well wrapped up here. Brendan's got to get to bed so he can, you know, make sure he gets enough beauty sleep for the night. But
oh, you're killing me, man. You know, Kevin, you know, if you want me to send you beer, you know, you got to be a little nicer to me. That's all I'm saying. I mean, it's great.
All right, guys, have a wonderful night. Anything comes up, let us know. You guys should have my email. For those that didn't get it, it is kevin.rankle, and that's RANKL @solidcam.com. Check out the YouTube channel. But with that being said, have a wonderful night, and have a great night. That's all I can say. All right, guys. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.